Atlantis. We might just have the evidence the debunkers have been crying for.
African-American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't. So say it.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here we go.
You know the girl that was on the airplane? She's like, that guy's not real.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
There's a recent conspiracy that she's back on social media after she went missing.
I did not see anything.
What?
Oh, and she looked different? And she looked different. She looks like a whole new person. Yeah. She started posting and she's trying to do like the Hawk Tuah girl.
You gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that name.
She's trying to become a social media personality from being the girl that saw something in the plane. One of the pictures or videos she posted, it started going viral in Reddit because they looked back on her last sightings and she was missing. They had no idea where she went and no idea if this is even her because she looks different. They took those images and they put it through a processor to see if it matches the face, and it got a score that legit means that's not the person. But this is where it gets sus. The Reddit hackers, they looked into the picture and they were able to get the IP address of where the photo and the videos were taken. Wow. They looked into the address.
Where was it?
Yo, it's literally meters away from the White House.
Oh.
Watch this video before it's removed from the internet.
Take a look at this pirouetting lady here. Just look at it for a few seconds. Can you raise your hand if you are watching her rotate in a clockwise direction? Okay? Can you put your hand up now if you are watching her rotating in an anti-clockwise direction? Okay? Can you put your hand up if you've seen her rotating in both directions? And how many people can't see her moving at all? Ah, you laugh. Well, let me tell you what's going on here. And you can find this on the web, so you can experiment with it yourself. If you haven't seen her rotating in both directions, take your focus from the head down to the heel of the foot that appears to go close to the floor here, and then bring your focus back up, and that may actually trigger a change in direction. What's actually happening here? Our optic nerves are linked to both sides of our brain. But only one side of our brain can feed information into our conscious mind at any given moment. So when we are seeing her rotating in a clockwise direction, at that given moment, it is the left side of the brain that is in the dominant role. If we are watching her rotating in an anti-clockwise direction, then that is the right side of the brain that's in the dominant role. Now, if I was to conduct this experiment in any random high street, the vast majority of people today would swear blind that they can only see her rotating in a clockwise direction. And anything else, any other suggestion is just outrageous because they can only see her rotating in a clockwise direction. And that's because the vast majority of people have been programmed to operate primarily within their left brain. And the right brain has effectively been shut down. And that's what we're going to explore as we go through the course of the evening. If you can't see her moving at all, there wasn't anybody that put their hand up, was there? If you don't see her moving at all, now I've never seen this, but I am assured that it has happened. In martial arts, the word is tatsudin, the point of perfect balance. And for somebody who has achieved a mental state, maybe the Dalai Lama might sort of get there, but that's about it, I think. But supposedly, if you've achieved the perfect balance between the left brain and the right brain, then you can actually see her just stationary. I think I've got a long, long, long way to go before that happens. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of observations, but before I do that, I want to just get a straw poll here. How many people, can I just have the hands up for all the males in the room under the age of 35? Oh, a bit too many. Okay. I'm going to make a couple of statements here. And let me tell you that if, for the male under the age of 35, it is possible that as I make these statements, you may feel a welling up of anger and frustration. And you might want to jump up and say, that's bollocks! And I know this happened because it happened in Australia. Where's Terry? Were you in that presentation? You weren't in that one? Okay, when it was another speaker as well. But if you do feel, as I make this statement, as I read out this statement, if you feel this sort of anger welling up, and you don't worry about it, because I will explain why you're feeling that way. Here's the first statement. Your left hemisphere of your brain is a hormonally retarded, perceptually limited, and cognitively impaired version of your right hemisphere. Well, it gets better. Your left hemisphere is perceptually dominant. It defines who you are, and it decides who you think you are. The left hemisphere, we tend to refer to the brain. But increasingly, within neuroscience, there is a recognition. Well, in fact, neuroscience, to be honest, neuroscience is effectively dividing into two camps right now. There's the neuroscientists who are the materialists. And these are the neuroscientists, the humanists, if you like, who believe that everything can be explained by reductionist Newtonian science. And that there is absolutely no experience, whilst we are in physical form on this mortal coil, there is actually no experience that cannot be explained. Whereas the non-materialists are starting to say, well, actually, there's a hell of a lot that we can't explain. And what tends to happen is the materialist neuroscientists put a lot of time and effort into trying to demonize and marginalize and dismiss the research of the non-materialists, whilst the non-materialists don't waste their time responding. And so within the non-materialist neuroscience camp, there is the increasing recognition that actually to refer to the brain is wrong. It's a misnomer. Because although we have an organ within the cranial cavity, it's actually two organs. The left brain and the right brain divided by the corpus callosum. And the increasing recognition is that these two sides of the brain perform very, very different functions. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that those who think they're the rightful rulers of the planet have actually known this for a long, long time. And so they've made a tremendous effort, a brilliant effort, to keep people locked in to the left brain, the seat of the ego. And a lot of research, the reason I said about the under 35s, is a lot of research has shown that because of all the programming that takes place, for a lot of the male population, it's only when they get to about the age of 35 that they actually start to move away from the focus on the self and start to recognize that, well, maybe there's other people and maybe they can enjoy life more if they open up to a more open relationship with other people. But up until that point, and it's no fault of their own because it's part of the programming, they focus very much on the self.
Included this here is because I never thought there's a triggering method in how you can switch the rotation of the lady.
If you guys remember in the photos of the 1900s, you always see a white sky. Every single time you see a white sky. And you see buildings that don't match the time frame. But why do they have a white sky? Well, that's why we got a white sky. Because you had blimps, airships, zeppelins, and all types of things flying around the entire time. That's why they whited out the skies. Because they didn't want to show you that people were flying around in blimps and zeppelins and airships all the time. If you could fly around in a blimp, you could see the whole world. You could map out the whole world with a blimp. At all these different blimps, that looks like the Oscar Mayer Wiener. Remember that whole thing? They made it into a joke. They're driving around a big Oscar Mayer Wiener thing or whatever it may be. These blimps could fly around with 5 gallons of gas and fly for 3 hours. So check this. Imagine flying around on that for 3 hours with 5 gallons of gas. Well, gallons of gas right now are like $3, $4 a gallon, so times 5, that costs you 20 bucks. 20 bucks, and you can fly around for 3 hours.
Besides the airships, could there be any other reason why they would white out the skies? What do you think, guys?
Atlantis. We might just have the evidence the debunkers have been crying for. All over the world, ancient underwater sites have been getting uncovered and then covered up. So we know Plato's story of Atlantis, advanced utopian kingdom that got lost under a great flood, but that was merely the tip. As it turns out, secret societies may have been uncovering lost Atlantean knowledge for almost 1,000 years. One of which started around the 11th century when a man named Hugh de Paynes led a mission to Constantinople in present-day Turkey, where he and his men met with a group called the Brothers of the East, who told them a very familiar story. One of a highly advanced civilization of all-knowing people that thrived tens of thousands of years ago. It was your classic utopia. No hunger, no poverty, everyone is happy and pure and focuses on self-actualization rather than chasing material goods and social status. They had advanced knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering, can control the weather, communicate over long distances, and levitate objects. And of course, war didn't exist. This wasn't just a city, but a global civilization, one that was very consistent to the story of Plato's Atlantis. The Atlantis we usually hear about commonly refers to the capital city of the Kingdom of Atlantis of the same name, and could be how there are so many suspected ancient underwater sites of the lost city all around the world. Just different regions of the global civilization of Atlantis that we're slowly discovering. According to the Brothers of the East, they also had free wireless energy powered by conduits in key areas around the world. Pyramids, anyone? Hugh de Paynes was so intrigued that he created a group of fellow men who were tasked with uncovering lost artifacts and forbidden knowledge of this civilization. This group was called the Knights Templar. Yup, this Assassin's Creed lore, which is actually loosely what the video game series was based on. The Knights discovered what was used as the ancient source of fuel for this global energy system: mana. Yeah, for real. Mana with 2 N's is what it's called, and this ain't no RPG magic potion we talking about. First mentioned in the Bible as a food source that God provided for the Israelites. White flakes that look like frost. Atlanteans extracted mana from plants and animal bones using a very specific process and turned it into a white powder, which when used the right way provided free, unlimited, and clean energy for their entire civilization, possibly using the pyramids as their generators. I talked about the Giza power plant theory, which explains how this may have worked in a past video. Go check that out after this. The process by which Atlantis made and used this mana was written down in their legendary Emerald Tablets, which was eventually recovered by the Knights Templar, and allegedly also explained how mana can be used to make objects lighter and levitate them, a process that would have been immensely helpful in building our ancient megaliths. The Knights found even older texts that predated even Atlantis, talking of a non-human race that enslaved humanity to mine gold, the Anunnaki, previous video. And once again, this mana is mentioned all around the world throughout history. In the Bible and Quran, mana is referenced as a food source from God. Sumerian texts talk of a substance called She-mana that was used to help the Anunnaki power their flying crafts. In Hindu texts, this substance was called Vimana, again used for the same purpose. Polynesian cultures had mana as a supernatural force that permeates the entire universe. Buddhists called the same substance and force Mani. So many ancient cultures had a similar name for this thing that powers our universe that we can use to generate energy, just like Atlantis did. Then the world got flooded and a few stray survivors used the knowledge of the Emerald Tablets to help rebuild civilization. Same old story you've heard a billion times. During their search, the Knights found texts that confirmed these stories, which didn't play well with the rigid teachings of the Catholic Church at the time, which was steadily growing more and more powerful throughout the 12th century, so the Knights covered up all findings out of fear of getting persecuted. And they kept this knowledge for themselves, collecting artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, gaining divine forbidden knowledge like immortality that rose them to power behind the scenes. But then they got caught. In 1312, the Knights Templar was officially disbanded. Their leaders burned at the stake after being convicted of heresy, aka going against the church. The ones who remained fled to avoid persecution and continued their practices in the shadows. One group of these knights escaped to Scotland. They renamed themselves to the Freemasons, and allegedly continued their lineage of practicing forbidden knowledge with the most powerful group of elites on the planet today, who use their power to purposely keep the secrets of Atlantis hidden from the masses. Now, to be fair, this is a story told by the Knights Templar leaders themselves as their own origin story, who are a little culty, so take it for what you will. But we do see glimpses of what appear to be remnants of Atlantis come up every now and then, which gets swept under the rug as crazy nonsense theories, like the Richat structure, which matches very closely to Plato's definition of the lost city and also shows up as Atlante on an ancient Roman map from 43 AD. In the same geographical region, the Richat structure structure is in. Obviously just a coincidence, and we must be reading into things too much. There's the Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan, an entire sunken underwater temple-looking structure thought to be over 10,000 years old that they insist is completely natural. Off the coast of Portugal, in the Atlantic Ocean, we have the Azores, a remote archipelago of islands 1,500 kilometers from the shore. In the area, amateur sonar scans revealed an underwater structure in the shape of what appears to be, get ready for this, a pyramid on the ocean floor. Rigid, square, and aligned with the 4 cardinal compass directions as most pyramids are, with an estimated 86,000 square foot base. This strange discovery was reported to the Portuguese Hydrographic Institute, to which it was claimed to be an underwater volcano and its location never revealed to the public. Off the coast of Cuba, underwater structures appearing to resemble a city were once again found on the seafloor that would have taken an estimated 50,000 years to sink. This one, they couldn't even pretend to try and say it was natural while keeping a straight face. So, it was shrugged off, as we're not sure what that is and we don't have enough data to confirm, and further excavation of the area was discontinued. A little further north, just east off the coast of Miami, Bimini Road. A sprawling underwater terrace that has all the characteristics of being a man-made road deemed a natural geological formation. The Indian city of Dwarka is steeped in an ancient Hindu myth of another advanced utopia where sea levels rose and it was lost to the ocean. Thought to be a myth, when in 1963, underwater archaeological excavation revealed numerous artifacts and submerged remains of full-blown ancient structures, 36 meters underwater in the Gulf of Cambay, just off the western coast of India beside Dwarka, which some estimates put these ruins at over 9,000 years old. And we found all of this and more after exploring only something like 5 to 10% of our planet's oceans. What's hidden in the other 95%? Whatever it is, it seems like they're trying to hide something big time. Because the world's oldest known historic sites like Göbekli Tepe and Gunung Padang are being intentionally covered up by the global elites. And it's happening before our very eyes. Y'all are not gonna believe what they're doing here. Coming soon.
Do you think you'll be able to find out the truth within our lifetime?
¿Qué? Ay.
That's terrifying. This just happened recently. I was told this was here in the Philippines. Traitor still hasn't been caught. Wow. You guys saw that, right? I'm sure this is just CGI, right? What do you think?
Hey, if you're still here, please do me a favor and give the video a thumbs up so this video gets recommended to other people. Thanks.
Did you know that the reason that LEDs actually save you money is because they're constantly on strobe mode, turning off and on faster than our eyes can comprehend? Blinking LED in the human eye and perception. When an LED is flashing at 2 times a second, the human eye can perceive the on and off state. We can clearly see when the on state is and when the off state is. When it is flashing at 10,000 times per second, we see the LED in the on state only. This phenomena is called persistence of vision. Persistence of vision is a type of optical illusion where the human eye continues to briefly see an image after it has disappeared from view. It is utilized in animation to give the impressions of motion. So if this didn't make you go, wait, what? What the fuck? Listen to what these schmucks at CBS had to say about this.
Imagine getting rid of all of the bad and only remembering the good. Zapping your brain sounds like something out of science fiction movie.
But it could potentially help people. CBS 2 shows you how scientists are one step closer to actually erasing memories.
We call it the neuralizer. Keep it simple, Slick. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Agent K.
It's simple. In the movie Men in Black, memories evaporate instantly.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
That's Hollywood. But now scientists have made groundbreaking inroads that they say make erasing bad memories more of a possibility than ever before.
I think that would be awesome.
That will be great.
So the animal is walking around in this particular place.
At the University of California, Davis, Dr. Brian Wilchin has already proven it in studies with mice.
What we do here is deliver the laser stimulation.
Using pulses of laser light, he was able to get rid of select bad memories.
We were able to turn off a specific memory in mice.
This is a really big deal.
Mount Sinai neuroscientist Dr. Paula Coxon says it could potentially have many other applications, from easing traumatic memories of child abuse to healing the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder.
It might be actually possible to take out some of the aspects of the memory that are the most unpleasant by having the person be able to recall the memory but not experience the emotion and the fear associated with it.
And she says the research could ultimately lead to innovative treatments for cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's.
We might be able to reactivate those memories and maybe find a new way for those patients to access the locked-in memories and to get some of their memory function back.
And scientists emphasize all of these studies so far have been done on mice, and it could be years before we know whether the same results would actually apply to humans.
Well, I hope everyone is as furious as I am. I feel cheated, lied to, used, and abused. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, go ahead and drop a like, drop a comment if you're like, oh wow, I had no idea that LED lights were flashing 24/7 every single time that they're on. That's crazy. Also, if everyone could go ahead and repost and share this video so we could get this information out there, because for whatever reason, nobody knows about this. And this is detrimental to our health and to our memory. And who knows what they're actually doing with this technology and what kind of memories they're erasing. Peace and love, y'all.
What do you think is the likelihood that they've been doing this far longer than what we think?
I hate the American flag, so I have taken it upon myself to redesign it. And if you're wondering what makes me qualified for that, well, Betty Ross was only 24 years old when she designed the original American flag, which obviously is outdated and has been updated since. And now I think it's time for another update. So immediately, let's get rid of the red, because we don't need to remind the world of all the blood we have on our hands. There are 13 stripes to represent the 13 original colonies and 50 stars to represent the 50 states. I would keep those if we had a representative democracy, but we don't. So let's keep the essence of stars and stripes, but let's make it 2 stripes to represent the Democratic and Republican Party that control our government, and we'll just make it 1 star because it is one nation after all. But I want to throw in triangles to kind of give the Illuminati shadow government vibe. So here's the final rendering. This, I feel like, fully encaptures what our government truly represents. I would love to hear some feedback, some constructive criticism. What do you guys think?
What are your thoughts on this, guys? Is there truth to this?
Now hold on to your bug spray. We've got ourselves a colossal critter on the loose. Feast your eyes on the Asian giant hornet, a winged behemoth that's not just big, it's downright massive. Now when it comes to insects, this bad boy takes the cake. With a body the size of a small car, oh, okay, well, maybe not that big, but you get the idea. And a buzz that could wake the dead, it's no wonder they call it a giant. But here's where things get downright chilling. These hornets are not just big, they're bad news for anything that crosses its path. From decimating beehives to delivering a sting that feels like a red-hot poker, they've earned themselves quite the reputation in the insect world. So next time you hear the unmistakable buzz overhead, you might want to think twice before swatting.
Now imagine getting swarmed by 1,000 of these. Nightmare.
I hope this isn't real, but it's scary.
What is it? Like they literally see it?
It's scary, bro. Here, look. So this guy is in sleep paralysis, and he's been having sleep paralysis so many times throughout the week. So he decides, okay, I'm gonna get one of those cameras that can see beyond. It's one of those
like
cameras that can thermal. Yeah. And it will be able to show if anything's there, trying to catch a ghost or whatever. Because he's like, why am I always having sleep paralysis? Because it always feels like somebody's pressing on my chest. Usually that's what people feel whenever they have it. Look at this video.
The guys go like this.
Right here.
Sleep paralysis is something I'm certain each and every one of you has experienced at least once
you see it?
in your life.
Yo. So you can see his chest moving.
As you can see,
and then there's like a figure. It's like a translucent figure, and it's right on top of his chest, and it's pushing him, and then he wakes up after.
This mysterious
No. But you can see that's why everyone feels like pressing on the chest
and seemingly strangling him.
Because that's how it's described usually too.
Viewers have pointed out that there's a lot of
oh my god, it's moving.
The room as well.
This shit is moving.
So you can see it on this end, and you can see it through the camera.
Oh, that's crazy.
This the actual proof that demons.
And it walks away, and then that's when he wakes up. Oh, fuck. So it really could be things that you don't see.
Yeah, and I would believe that like if it's something like like it can transform into anything it wants. So it would probably transform like that thing that girl I was seeing. It was definitely like
I think that's the origin. You know why ghosts always have a sheet over them? Or you know the classic Halloween ghost costume is a sheet? I think that's why. I think the origin of it is the sleep paralysis demons. Because they're there. You can't see them. You can't see them. But the physical on the sheet. And usually where would they be when you're sleeping?
Under the sheet.
The bed.
Well, good thing I have no plans of sleeping. Ever.
We were never alcoholics. They brought that to us. We were never poor or starving. They did that to us by removing our rights to hunt, trap, and fish. We were never spiritually corrupt. We were self-sufficient. We never needed money. We traded and shared what we had. We never took someone's child away because they were struggling. We helped. We had a sense of community, sense of pride and appreciation for all Creator has given us. They forced us into what we are today. They manipulated and lied, forcefully and aggressively removing us from everything we ever knew to secure their lives while destroying ours. We warned that one day you would not be able to control what you have created. That day is here.
What has become of us? Just asking questions.
African American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it, I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay, this is hypocritical.
Nothing to say here.
That's like how people sneeze different in other countries. Like French people might go, achoo. Dude, they do. Yeah, like German people say just like achoo, wait. Achtung! Scheiße!
Oh, mein Haver sneezing. Watch out, Klaus. Mine have a sneeze up.
Achtung! Please set me free from this.
Oh, I've got schnitzel everywhere. Oh no, I've got sauerkraut all over my lederhosen.
You gotta stop. I can't do this with you at all, dude.
Sorry for my loud and sneezing.
Alright, that's it for today, everyone. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again, everyone, for showing up. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you around.